We're learning more about the Colorado cops who are currently facing a lawsuit over the brutal arrest of a 73-year-old woman by the name of Karen Garner. Her family is suing the police department in Loveland over the fact that she has dementia, and they were incredibly excessive in their force when they were arresting her. This is the woman who walked out of a Walmart with a little under $14 worth of merchandise that she had forgotten to pay for because she's elderly and has dementia, and she was met with brutality by the cops. Now, the two officers have been identified as Austin Hopp and Daria Jalali of the Loveland Police Department. They arrested 73-year-old Garner on June 26th of 2020 after she left a Walmart with $13 worth of goods that she hadn't paid for. Garner's family says she forgot because of her condition. Now, I give you that context because after we played that horrendous video of her being arrested, we now have video of them in the police department essentially reviewing the body cam footage of her arrest, and they're making light of it. So I'm gonna show you the first clip, which basically features them watching that footage, reacting to it, and pay close attention to how they make light of the same video that we all saw that was incredibly difficult to watch. Take a look.
I'm here.
So they talk about how much they love watching body cam footage, even when it's incredibly brutal body cam footage. That video that we talked about last Monday was so difficult to watch. It personally put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. It was just incredibly difficult. But when they're referring to, did you hear the pop? They're talking about dislocating the 73-year-old shoulder as they're putting handcuffs on her. So they're very aware of the physical harm that they cause to a frail 73-year-old with dementia. But before I go back to the old video to show you and remind you of what that scene looked like, Cenk, I wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, so two things there. One, Jalali, the female officer, looks much more uncomfortable than the male officer does, and she will more and more as that video goes further. And she bothers to check in on the 73-year-old. The guy seems completely unconcerned. He seems to be enjoying it. And in fact, I wanted to just make that point. When we covered it the first time around, Anna was really tough on the male officer there, Hobb.
Yeah.
And I said, look, it seems like it's training 101. They teach our cops to be brutal, and then they are. And that's still very much true. But now, having watched his reaction afterwards and the zeal he had and the violence that he committed against that woman, I now think it's definitely both. They got bad training, as they do in almost every police department in the country. They're taught over-the-top brutality. But on top of that, that guy seems to particularly enjoy it. I can't believe he rewatched it and was laughing throughout when it was just one of the more horrific things we've seen.
Yeah, and I'm not letting Jalali off because while she did certainly feel uncomfortable watching the body cam footage, earlier in the video, and we're going to show you examples of it, the culture within that police department makes it very clear that she's not really allowed to speak out against it, and she doesn't. There was an opportunity for her to do so, and she refused to do so. I should note though, she's one of the rookie cops. So it gives you a sense of what the culture is like. But before we get to that, I just want to remind you all of how vicious these officers were in arresting her. And it is a difficult video to watch. Like I said, it put me in a bad mood for a full day. I want to give you that warning. But this is what they were making light of.
I'm not going anywhere. Then why are you fighting with me? And why are you trying to slip the cuffs off?
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going home.
No, you're not. Are you finished? Are you finished? We don't play this game. You understand me? And if you try to kick me, oh, this is gonna be bad.
I'm going home.
Stop.
I'm going
Hey.
home. I'm going home. I'm going home. Ow.
Are you finished?
I'm going home.
Hey, stand up. We're not gonna hold you.
Let's go to the ground. On the ground.
Going home.
On the ground. Why are you doing this? Let's see who she is.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to search her real quick.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, we wrestled for a minute.
So reports indicate, by the way, that she offered, once the Walmart staff approached her about the unpaid items that she was walking out with, she realized she had forgotten and offered to pay, and the staff said, no, that's all right, and they called the cops anyway. And this is how the cops treated her. They didn't ask any questions. In fact, in another video that we'll show you shortly, they were very clear about the fact that she was senile. Like they referred to her as senile. Okay, meaning that they knew that she wasn't completely aware of what was going on. And that's an important part of this story.
So when he first starts roughing her up in the original video, you think maybe he doesn't know. But she repeated, I'm going home, in a way that clearly showed that she didn't have her full mental faculties. She repeated it, I don't know, dozens and dozens of times. And so by the end, you felt, if you weren't already queasy at them throwing her on the ground and popping her shoulder and doing all those things, by the end it was so obvious that she had some sort of dementia that you felt totally sick to your stomach over this. They go back to the office, rewatch the tape and laugh.
Yep.
I mean, if we're teaching our cops to be this brutal and inhumane, of course all these horrible, horrible things are gonna happen nonstop. You know that they kept her in a jail cell without getting her medical treatment for a shoulder that they knew they popped. You just saw it on video, them watching, look at it pop. They kept her in there for 6 hours without medical treatment. It's just, and look at the culture. Nobody, if you did that here, people would be like, are you insane? Are you laughing at a woman, 73-year-old woman's shoulder getting popped and you did that? That we'd all be horrified, right? I imagine where you work or where you live. If you watched it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a doctor's office. It could be a plumber's office. I hope you'd be horrified. The only place it seems that people enjoy it are at a police office, at a police station. So there's something wrong in our policing. If you can't see that, you're trying super hard not to see it.
So let's get to the next clip, because in this next clip, you're about to see exactly what Cenk just described, and it's even more difficult to watch it after hearing it.
That's the first time I got music. Very excited. I was like, I was super excited. What happened when you got up stage? You was like, short motion to say. Yeah, we talked a little bit. But it's just a little, I was like, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm fighting, have everyone in the city run code and brainstorm. Yeah. I was like, I'm fine, I can handle it. Y'all just, I was like, all right, let's wrestle, girl, let's wrestle. Right on the ground, all that stuff. Got her cuffed up. That was eerie. And then I had her get the cobra when she showed up, but the cuff was like here on her hand. I was like,
She weighs about 100 pounds. So he's super proud of himself. Like, he talks about how excited he was to get the handcuffs out, to rough her up like that. It's incredible because he really feels like a hero there, like a real tough guy.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, we give them guns and badges, and then we tell them that if anyone disrespects them for a nanosecond, that's their license to be as brutal as humanly possible to them. And just please, if you're defending the police in this country, don't bother. Don't tell me, oh no, they don't teach them to be brutal. Oh no, they don't teach them that they need to escalate violence as soon as someone disagrees. or doesn't follow orders for a nanosecond. And we've seen it a billion times. Everybody knows it. Even if you're a right winger, you know it and you revel in it, right? But the reality, until they do it to you, by the way. And then you go, wait, I thought it was just for black people and old people and stuff. You're doing it to me? Poor people, you're doing it to me? Yeah, we taught them, if anyone disagrees with you for a second or asks you or questions you or doesn't follow an order, legal or illegal, sensible or not sensible, it doesn't matter. Smash them to pieces and then come home and laugh about it, right? So when you give anyone that kind of power, please read it as a Stanford prison experiment. When you give anyone that kind of power, they will abuse it. It's obvious. But no, we're not gonna fix any policing anywhere in the country. A great comment by one of our viewers I wanted to share with you guys. Someone who likes Bernie Sanders, that's the handle for our viewer, tyt.com/join to become a member. We do the show together with our members. They make great comments like this one. They wrote in, side note, apparently they have access to body cam footage the same day. Remember all those times when the cops say they can't release body cam footage for months after an event? Such a great point. Oh no, we can't seem to find it in our files. Right. Oh, when you want to have a good laugh over mauling a 73-year-old woman, you find it the minute you come back into the office.
So this next clip is important in talking about how body camera footage is manipulated, is oftentimes turned off when cops engage in some sort of violent encounter. And so the video begins with Hop asking Jalali, the woman, if she had turned her body camera off during the arrest. And then pay attention to the back and forth, because it does go to show you what the culture is, at least within that department, but we've seen something similar across the country.
How do you think that went?
Well, that went crazy.
You do?
Did you not? Apparently you did not.
No, I did.
I thought we were pretty good questions.
But every time I would try to jump in, like I got pushed off to the side, so I don't want you to think that I'm not acting.
I didn't think you were. I thought you were right in there the whole thing. Did I push you off to the side? I'm very sorry. There's, I was trying to fit in. He was hiding here.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
I just don't want you to think I was not playing.
You were definitely playing. You're a lot of help. She's just very flexible and very. I had everything scarred when we first got there, and I was like, okay, you're gonna play. I was pushing her. I was like,
That's what you're gonna turn into something.
Yeah.
No doubt that's on the card of this stuff. There's more than just that guy.
Yeah.
What they're referring to toward the end there is the bystander who saw the whole violent encounter go down and wanted to know the details about the department so he could file a report. So that's what she was talking about there. And it begins with her asking, do you think that went well? Because she has a feeling that it didn't go well because they brutalized a 73-year-old woman. Referring to her as flexible is fascinating, because 73-year-old women, 73-year-old individuals are really known for their flexibility. Yeah.
So look, throughout she looks uncomfortable for whatever it's worth. But I actually think that video we just watched is amazing, because it shows you live action how culture forms.
Yes.
So she's uncomfortable with it, but he says, oh no, it went fantastic. We look pretty, right? And in another part of the video, which is an hour long of them watching it back at the office, she's covering her head a lot, going, I hate it, I hate it. He's going, I love it, I love it. And if you notice in that last video we showed you, she then turns around and asks him, like, was I in the fight enough, basically? So she goes from like being uncomfortable at how they mauled the woman to, wait, did I kick her ass enough? Am I gonna get approval from you? Because she's a more junior officer, right? And so that's how you get approval among other cops.
Yeah.
Did you kick ass enough, right? Did you assault innocent people enough?
And he responds with, you were definitely fighting. Verbatim, those were his words. It's a 73-year-old woman who's suffering from dementia. You were definitely fighting. What? How is that the standard in responding to a woman who forgot to pay for less than $14 worth of merchandise at Walmart? How is that? Like, he genuinely thinks that he handled this really well, really well. One more video for you all, because this one really did make it clear to me that at least Jalali knew that there was gonna be a problem once this story got out. Take a look.
I can't believe you're a 73-year-old woman right now. I can't believe you're a 73-year-old woman right now. That dude was yelling at me, I'm like, I couldn't budge. I didn't want to do that either, but I didn't want to do it. And I was like, hey, you know what?
Meanwhile, I'm still fighting.
I know, I thought you were done.
No.
We closed the doors and you were still there. I was like, looking over like,
We didn't close the door.
I closed my door. We had her in the car.
You closed your door, but she still wasn't in on my side.
Oh, I told her. I'm sorry to that.
That's okay. That's why I called for another unit. I was like,
Yeah,
hello?
I didn't want this guy to act a fool and start jumping in. Oh no, is that blue teamable?
Because didn't your boss say we'll talk later?
No.
I thought you heard.
No, he said, let me know when you're ready for the app later.
On scene, didn't you say we'll talk about it later?
Oh, well, regardless, blue team or not, I use force.
When she says I calmed him down, she's referring to the witness who saw the elderly woman get roughed up. So she's like, I calmed him down, hoping that nothing would get reported. And then clearly she's concerned about the higher ups punishing her or punishing them for the way that they handled the situation, which clearly Hop is not worried about that because oftentimes they don't suffer any consequences for it. In this case, you have the family of the 73-year-old woman filing a lawsuit against them, which is how we've gotten access to this type of video.
So he's on administrative leave, she's at desk duty. I'm sure they're all getting paid, it doesn't matter, it's like a vacation. And look, as in the longer video, the two male cops are having the time of their lives watching the how one of them, Hob, attacked a woman, assaulted a woman, right? But even when they get concerned here, when the other male cop is gone and it's just the two of them that handle the incident, at no point, to be fair to Jalali, she went and checked on the woman at some point in that hour, okay? Hob didn't care, etc., right? But at no point during that, even when they got concerned about, hey, are we gonna get in trouble? Did they think, hey, maybe we should get her medical treatment? We've now talked about how I popped her shoulder twice, and nope, 6 hours, no medical treatment. Look, it's for any rational, sentient human being, it's super obvious that we teach police abuse as a regular course, as standard operating procedure. And just go to any police training. Are they not listening to your orders? Go over the top immediately. You have to show them who's boss. Crush them, come on, you know it, you all know it. So yes, the racial component of this is a giant part because black people are attacked, assaulted, and killed by cops at a disproportionate rate. But I think just as big a problem is the overall training and how they treat all citizens except the rich. They're told, be really careful with rich people. But other than that, go nuts, crush them. And that is not what we should be training our police. Look, last thing on this, European countries have 1 to 2 police shootings relatively, like on average. Now there's some variation obviously there. So per year, you know how many we have? 1,000. No, not police shootings. 1,000 deaths from police shootings. That means cops shoot and kill 3 people a day, every day in America.
They're protecting and serving, Cenk.
Yeah.
They're protecting and serving.
No, they're killing 1,000 Americans every year. And that's because we told them to. And I gave you the European stat, why? Because they don't have out of control crime in Europe. They don't have out of control crime in other places where they don't teach their cops to be fascist and brutal and over the top and vicious. We have out of control police here that are taught to be fascist, and then we're surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. You taught them to do that, you told them to do that, and that's what they do everywhere across the country. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.